Hi, this is Don McAllister and welcome to another edition of Screencasts Online. This week, I'm going to revisit a macOS system utility that can be used for monitoring the performance of your Mac or for troubleshooting, and that utility is Activity Monitor. Now, can you believe I last covered Activity Monitor 15 years ago in show 109, one of the very first shows that I did when I started Screencasts Online, and it was brought to my attention that although the functionality is pretty much the same as back then, the user interface has changed somewhat, so it's worth revisiting. So let's go ahead and we'll start off Activity Monitor. I'm just going to run it from Spotlight. You can also go into your Applications Utilities folder and run it from there, but let's run it for the first time. Now, the very first time you run it will take a few seconds to populate the window with information. Now, the window itself refreshes the information every 5 seconds. You can change the frequency. If you go to View and Update Frequency, you can change it for 1 second, 2 seconds, but I tend to leave it for 5 seconds. So what is it we're actually looking at here? Well, this, because I have the CPU tab selected, is a list of all the processes currently running on my Mac. Now, by default, it's sorted in percentage CPU. So this one here, Core Audio D, this is running at 7%. So this is the most active process on my Mac. Now, if I wanted to, I could change the view. So rather than all processes, I could have a look at all processes hierarchically. In this view, each application has its associated processes nested below it. So I can tidy this up if I want to, or I can go in and have a look at specific processes to do with the specific application. I can also go in and view just my processes. So I'm logged on as Screencast Online. So these are all the processes that my user account has initiated on the Mac. But I do tend, although there are other views as well, system processes, other user processes, active, inactive, GPU and windowed, I tend to always display all processes and then look at the sorting of these processes to troubleshoot the Mac. For instance, if I've already mentioned that this is sorted by percentage CPU time, I can just click on this little arrow here and see those with the least impact or the most impact. And this is sometimes handy if a rogue process has suddenly sort of escalated or has gone out of control. I can quickly identify which process is using the most CPU. There is also the CPU time as well, so I can sort to see what has been running the most and what's been running the least. I can also sort by process ID. So when the Mac first starts, each process is assigned a numeric value. And the very first one, if I just sort this in ascending order, kernel task is process ID 0, and then everything that's launched after that is giving an incremented number. But let's go back to CPU time, and we'll have the most active process at the top. Now, you might have noticed that this information does change quite frequently. As the different level of CPU usage changes, the whole list gets resorted. If you're working with a particular process, let's say, for instance, Activity Monitor, what we can do now is sort by process name. Okay, and now this list will stay in place. It won't change unless a new process is introduced. But more often than not, this is a very stable view of the processes. Now, once we've selected a process that we want to examine and possibly kill, how do we do that? Well, there are two different options. You can either go to the information button here. This will give you some additional information about the process. So I've currently selected Activity Monitor. So you can see its parent process, the percentage CPU usage, its memory size, some statistics, and open files and ports. I'm not really going to go into these because, to be perfectly honest, I don't really delve into things in that much detail. I just know usually that a process has either hung or is out of control, and I want to kill it. I want to quit the process. You can do that using this quit button here. I say quit. So you can quit normally, or you can force quit if the quit option doesn't work. But I'm going to say cancel at this point. I don't want to quit Activity Monitor. Or I can use this button up here in the toolbar. It gives me the same dialog box without the additional information. So I can quit, force quit, or cancel at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and say cancel. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencasts Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit screencastsonline.com today and become a Screencasts Online member.